Hey there, and welcome to GamePoints, episode 130. This is our weekly little get together. We talk about recent gaming news, and of course, the big news right now is E3 is about to kick off, and we just had all the conferences. David and I have watched all of them. Have you watched all of them? I know I have.
Yes,
Okay,
unfortunately for some of those.
yeah. And we're going to give our thoughts and feelings on them. If you're looking for a full breakdown on the conferences down to like fine nitty gritty details, this is not the show for you. This is going to
No.
be kind of a quick sum up of what we thought was cool. It won't be every single bit of information. And
This is mostly just opinion pieces of two assholes on the internet.
yeah, absolutely. And as such, since it is just opinion pieces, feel free to join in the conversation if you happen to be watching us here live on Twitch TV/GamePoints. Join in chat what your thoughts and feelings are when we get to the conferences. Try to stick to the conference that we're in, because if you start bringing up, say, Devolver and we're on E3, I'm not really going to be able to get to you or smoothly transition that in. Otherwise, though, this is typically a very long show for us, so let's go ahead and get right into things. And while
We're
I
going to go a
normally
little backwards to start, though.
yeah, I normally like to do these in order, but since Sony's conference ended roughly an hour ago, we're going to go ahead and start with them. David, what did
Yes.
you think of the Sony press conference?
As soon as it started, I was disappointed.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Let's start right there. So it opened up, and they're in like a little church-looking place with like Christmas lights strung up from the ceiling, and it's very low budget looking with a small stage and a small screen.
And
And
low budget is the key word here, because the camera was kind of shaky, the audio was fucking atrocious.
the audio was so bad. His microphone and the feedback and the reverb was driving me insane. I was thinking that if that was the whole show, I was going to just turn the whole thing off.
Yeah, same here.
But it turns out they did it on purpose. The show then jumped into The Last of Us 2 trailer, where we saw that their lady in basically the same room that the
Ellie?
audience was in. Yes.
Yeah. It was some kind of church social gathering. Ellie's dancing, makes out with chicken. It shows some gameplay. Very
No,
reminiscent.
no, no. We got to talk about that transition because it's fantastic.
Yeah,
She
it's a
like
real good
she
transition.
she kisses that other girl in the dancing scene, and it pans around the back of her head into her stabbing some dude in the neck, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah, transition was good. Transition was real good. Let me mute my phone here as it keeps making fucking noise. I apologize for that.
Ridiculous. This guy's still watching Twitter for news, even though we just watched the news.
So it cuts to gameplay itself, which was very reminiscent of the first time they showed The Last of Us, when you see Joel and Ellie walking around the building, murdering all those fools, including the final shot where this time Ellie kills someone and he says something snarky before she finishes him off, or he's wounded before she kills him. On the other one, it was that dude begging for his life, but it was very reminiscent of the first trailer they showed. Couple things I noticed: still no Joel at all. You heard his voice in the first trailer they showed at the teaser at PSX, but no Joel voice at all in this one, and no character model, which I'm sure is going to feel the fire of the idea that Joel's probably dead. Now, did they mention that your old man trained us real hard at the beginning? Because I missed that.
They said something along those lines, something
Yeah,
about old man.
they did. They kind of hinted that he's there, but they didn't mention him by name. Naughty Dog is keeping him low profile for a reason. I don't know why.
We'll get to it. It'll start out with some dramatic nonsense, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, he could be like crippled or something like that. He could be in a wheelchair. Could be any number of things. He could be like horrendously burned. There could be
Oh yeah,
something horrible that happened to him that they're trying to keep under wraps, but don't know
he got
for
Harvey
sure.
dented.
So that trailer wraps up, and they go into the biggest momentum killer I have ever seen for an E3.
So they talk about the fact that the audience is now going to move into the next room. So that shitty looking room was not the permanent location of
No.
the Sony conference that we quickly learned. But they did absolutely no fucking testing on moving 1,000 people from one room to another, because that shit took forever.
And you can tell they were stalling too.
We cut to a panel where you just have some talking heads talking about just mostly nonsense. Like, oh man, that trailer looked great. It was like the post E3 show that you see on every YouTube channel,
Yeah,
except for it was happening during their fucking press conference.
yeah. They
Then they
teased.
showed
Good.
trailers for like Black Ops maps. Like,
Mentioned that Black Ops 3 is free right now for PlayStation Plus holders. That's the one I don't
whoa.
have, so I might pick it up.
I mean, yeah, sure, I guess, but dude, it was just so slow and horrible.
That Destiny trailer was cool though.
Forsaken.
Yeah. I like seeing Prince Uldred or whatever his name is just blasting what's his name? The guy from Firefly. Whatever that robot's name is, Kate Six in the face. That was nice. But it was such a momentum killer. Any goodwill they built up. So that show starts off really fucking bad. And then they show The Last of Us 2, and you're like, okay, cool. I wish that the sound was better, but all right. Okay, that was a great trailer. Didn't really show much. It was kind of repetitive. In fact, I think it was the weakest of all the trailers they showed that night because it's The Last of Us, and it looked like The Last of Us.
Yeah, basically.
And it's nothing we hadn't seen before.
And in between Last of Us and the next trailer of one of the main 4 games that they talked about was like 30 full minutes.
Yeah, just dead. It was
just nothing.
And
keeping in mind that the whole show was barely an hour.
Yeah, the next trailer they showed after they finally picked up and moved everyone else was 35 minutes after the show started. They only showed one trailer and essentially 2 advertisements, which, I mean, you can argue that all trailers are advertisements, but these were like fucking TV spots, not slick produced E3 trailers. In 35 minutes is the slowest goddamn start to a conference I've ever seen. And Ubisoft, or what Bethesda, took 12 minutes to get to their shit. So that's bad. Never do that again, Sony. I appreciate you guys trying to do something new. I understand going into this, you guys said, hey, we're really only going to talk about 4 games. And I was like, okay, cool. It's going to be a dial back experience. But god damn, was that such a momentum killer.
Well, they could have talked about those 4 games more in depth. Like, I was expecting producers of each game to get up on stage and talk about their project in depth if we were only going to get 4 games.
Fair enough.
But anyway, they finally got around to showing the next game, which is Ghost of Tsushima.
Looks amazing.
Which looks damn good. The combat looks phenomenal.
This is Sucker Punch's. They haven't made a game since Infamous Second Son, I don't think. So correct. I am really looking forward to this. Apparently, the combat uses the Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight template.
Yeah,
looks similar. God damn, I hope that game comes with like a Japanese soundtrack.
And thoughtful and amazing. It really does.
I want that game to have a Japanese with a subtitle dub. Or subtitles on the bottom.
Yeah, the whole thing.
It looked so goddamn beautiful. And I was still salty, though, when this trailer was playing, because I was sitting there thinking, because they didn't tell us, anyone who was watching it, I thought they were going to move yet another room after this.
That's true. That's what it seemed like from the beginning.
I was sitting there watching this trailer, and I was like, God damn it, I'm going to have to wait another 20 minutes once it's done.
But luckily we didn't.
Yeah.
They moved everybody into a real conference room, and the show kind of started in earnest after the Ghost trailer. And then it started moving fairly briskly, considering, we took 35 minutes from Last of Us to this, and then the whole show wrapped up in 20 minutes after that.
Yeah, it was real quick. And we'll go through these pretty quick, too, for the most part. They showed Control, Remedy's new game. It's been wondering what they're working on. Looks awesome. Still no idea what it is. The Resident Evil 2 remake.
You got fancy mind powers, that's for sure.
Yeah. Resident Evil 2 remake announced. Looked fucking amazing.
Looks so good. Like, stop watching us and go watch that damn trailer right now. Starts with like a mouse running around, and then it gets crushed, and you're like, what is this game? I honestly thought it was like a Prey teaser or some nonsense.
I picked up that was a mouse pretty quick, and I heard like the cop like trying to restrain something, and my first thought was, oh, this is Resident Evil 2. And then I immediately pushed that out because I was like, nah, it doesn't look like Resident Evil 2 should be. And then the second that zombie starts eating that cop, I was like, son of a bitch.
Yep. It looks gorgeous. I can't wait. I got so excited. As soon as that happened, I was back on board for Sony show.
Yeah. Dated officially 1/25/19, which means I get a point on the E3 prediction list that Resident Evil 2 will be dated at the Sony conference. For those keeping track on the show that doesn't exist currently.
Yep.
A couple more things. They had Trover saves the universe from Squanch Games. Essentially Rick and Morty without Rick and Morty in it.
Yeah, the Rick and Morty studio game.
Squanch Games.
Squanch Games.
More Kingdom Hearts 3, which has been at this Square's and Microsoft's conference. They're really rolling that out.
I'm happy that it was finally something new. We didn't see the same damn trailer with like the Frozen kids and all that shit again.
Yeah. Pirates looks real fucking good too.
Yeah, dude, we got some Jack Sparrow action, so that's interesting.
And they announced
the big thing there is the fact that Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming with all the damn games, because everyone's been wondering, how am I going to remember all this shit from 14 years ago?
And,
They're going to help.
Yeah, in a box, they're going to, if for PlayStation only, they're going to bundle everything together. I have seen the collector's edition image going around. I don't have it handy. It's got Mickey, Sora, and Goofy in there, their little statuettes, and I'm hearing that thing costs $230 goddamn dollars.
Damn.
That
No,
sounds
thank you.
expensive. Let's get the
I like
next
the
thing.
idea of this game plus 1.5 plus 2.5 or whatever the hell they call those games.
Yeah, well, there's
nowadays.
1.5, 2.5, and then 2.8 HD remix or something. Final chapter prologue.
I don't care. They got stupid ass names.
We're going to skip the next one and go to the last two things they showed. Neo 2. Awesome. Love the first Neo. One of the best games that year. And Spider-Man 2, which looks amazing to play.
Spider-Man 2?
Or Spider-Man, not Spider-Man 2.
Where'd you get a 2 from, man?
I have no idea.
That new Spider-Man game looks phenomenal. The combat looks super satisfying. It's like basically the same Arkham formula that we've seen before, but on crack. Like, you move so fast, jumping around, dodging stuff, throwing webs at people. I like the way that he like catches people when you kick them off buildings with webs is entertaining.
Yeah.
And just the web slinging in general looks so damn fun.
The banter's good, too. The banter was real good. Super Spider-Man.
It reminds me
banter.
of that Spider-Man game for PS2, the old Insomniac games.
So, let's talk about the big one that they showed. And I'm glad that trailer explained everything, because I totally know what's going on now with Death Stranding.
Dude, I'm 100% on board. I'm so with it.
It looks like we got some gameplay, but most of the gameplay was just Norman Reedus lugging luggage across what looked to be the Scotland Highlands.
We're talking, of course, about Death Stranding, if those not following along yet. And we actually saw some amount of it.
Yeah.
We saw Norman Reedus walking. We saw what looked to be some amount of story with him trying not to be killed by those creepy, invisible, alien, ghosty murder things.
Yep.
We saw a spiky jacket girl.
Yep, she's played by Leigh.
Is that the girl from The Fringe?
No, it's the girl from Blue is the Warmest Colors, probably the most famous thing she's known in.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So we saw her. She seems to know a little bit more what's going on. There seems to be individuals that can kind of tell what's... Like, Norman Reedus says he can sense the invisible shit. She seems like she could see it.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like whatever that invisible umbilical cord time warping people are, they've just wreaked havoc across the planet. And since Norman Reedus can kind of sense stuff, he is tasked to lug parcels across the wastes, as it were.
Yep. And then he has an idea, and it turns out bad.
Yep. Horrible. Still don't know much about this game. It was not dated at all. I am even more resolved in my belief that this is going to release alongside whatever the next gen consoles are. It might do the thing where it's like for PlayStation 4, but enhanced on PlayStation 5 or whatever they're going to call it. That is my belief.
Which works out great for me because that means Last of Us 2 will come out first, and I will win the bet.
I'm pretty sure Last of Us 2 will come out before Death Stranding. I think I said that. I think you said Death Stranding might come out first.
Absolutely 100% false. You can go back and watch the episode. I distinctly remember saying no matter what happens, I win. Either Last of Us 2 comes out first, and I was right, and you buy my ass dinner,
Fair
or
enough.
Death Stranding comes out first, and I get to play it.
Well, we'll see how that shakes out. This game is not even 2020. This game's 2021. Or, no, I'm sorry, I take that back. This game is not 2019. This game is 2020. This is not next year. It's the year after that. I can almost promise that. Looks cool. One other actor was revealed. It was Lindsay Wagner, also known as the Bionic Woman. Because Kojima loves his 70s TV shows, apparently. Overall, looked cool.
Again, weird that they didn't have any talking heads during all this stuff. Like, it just started going into things. Like, Kojima never got on stage. Like, no one talked about anything they showed.
Right. And I'm gonna bring about... this is something that relates to all the conferences as a whole. In general, every conference, save for the Microsoft one, but even then, did not feel like they really brought anything to the table. Now, Microsoft brought a lot of thunder, but a lot of it was stuff we already knew about, or not necessarily, but it wasn't any big wow moments. There wasn't anything unexpected. For example, Microsoft had their Gears of War and Halo reveals, which were technically new, but I mean, come on, it's Microsoft. Of course they're going to have Gears of War or Halo something there. There was no wow moments except for, oddly enough, the Resident Evil 2 remake, which we knew was coming,
But we didn't know it was
And
going to look that damn good, and we
yeah,
didn't know it was coming out that soon.
and the Ubisoft Star Fox tie-in, which we'll get to when we get to the Ubisoft conference. And I want to bring this in now because I think this is the reason why the Sony conference was so short and why so many of their conferences felt lacking in their get hype moments. I think next year is going to be all about the next-gen push because we are out of games to show for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and all that.
Gotcha. These are the last of this console generation.
Yes.
Even though we just got a half-step console generation for no fucking reason.
Yes.
Cool.
They're not showing because it's not like this is all Sony's making. They're not only making 4 games. They have a bunch of other shit lined up. It's all PlayStation 5 stuff or it's all Xbox One stuff. In fact, if Microsoft didn't
Xbox
need
One, 2,
whatever it's going to be, if Microsoft didn't need a win, like they needed a huge E3, and in my opinion, they so far, Nintendo aside, because they're tomorrow, they're the big winner of E3 so far, and their conference was damn good. It just wasn't blow your mind awesome like PlayStation's has been in the past.
they showed the most stuff.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
and it was by far the most traditional get hype kind of style conference that we're used to seeing from E3.
Trailer, and then people talking about their projects.
Right, and in fact, we're going to go ahead and skip to Xbox, and we'll deal with the other ones later after this. But I think the reason why all the other conferences just seemed muted is, like I said, we're out of shit to talk about. But it's too early to start talking about next-gen consoles. They want one last big holiday push, because if they announced, hey, PlayStation 5 coming in 2019 or early 2020, guess what's not going to sell holiday this year? PlayStation 4s.
The current gens.
Because you have those people who go like, I can wait a couple more months. So they have to keep all that stuff close to the chest. We were talking about Microsoft, David. Let's go ahead and move to Microsoft here.
All right.
Scroll down.
Well, it opens up with something mildly expected. You know, you see some foliage, you see some animals running around in this little wildlife area, and then you see a dude holding the Halo helmet.
Yep, and keep in mind, that was a first-gen Halo helmet. That is Master Chief's helmet from the first game, from what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an expert on Halo. This is just what people on the internet says, and we all know that people on the internet are always right.
That's true. They never lie. But yeah, we get a title card. It says Halo Infinite. So it's not a numbered Halo game, which I feel like is important to mention.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know exactly what it is. But it's something in the Halo universe, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, and they did mention that it's going to change up the way we play. So I don't know if they're going to move away from the... I still don't know if this is really Halo 6 or a spin-off like Halo Wars was. I'm into it. I like that it seems to be taking place on an actual proper Halo rather than some weird cyber planet or any number of things like Guardians and Halo 4 was. And if you look at the official site online, it actually says the platforms include Xbox One and Windows 10, which would be the first time a traditional Halo game has appeared on a console since, what, Halo 2? Halo 1? I know Halo 1 was on there and it really ran poorly. But yet another reason not to actually own an Xbox One if you have a PC.
You meant the first time Halo was on PC. Because
Yes.
you definitely said console, and that made no fucking sense.
Oh, I meant on PC. I'm sorry.
Just so you know. But of course it's on PC, because every single Xbox game is on PC, which is why there's no fucking reason to buy an Xbox.
Yeah.
Like, I get it does some stuff. And the One X can look better than the PS4 Pro, and it's got, you know, a better Blu-ray player.
And way more user-friendly. PCs can be a bitch.
Audio and all this other shit. But if you own a gaming PC and a PS4, you have access to pretty much everything.
Yeah.
If you own a gaming PC and an Xbox, you're just doubling up. Like,
yeah, no, I understand. Solid opening, and Xbox needed a win, and they definitely got a win in my opinion here. But none of these games are, besides some third-party stuff, but none of their major stuff is this year. So Xbox's catalog is still very, very light this year. Let's go on.
We jumped into a pretty good-looking trailer for Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Game looks beautiful.
Ori game.
God, that game looks beautiful.
These games look great. Kind of a classic platformer with other fun stuff that look really, really damn good. So excited for that. And then we jumped into probably my favorite thing from the Xbox conference, the new FromSoft game that we got a vague teaser of last year that said Shadows Die Twice. Now we know the game is
PlayStation, at PSX, by the way.
Yeah.
This was teased at PSX.
So now we know it's called Sekiro, and it's you know, more FromSoft stuff, but in a different universe that's also kind of samurai-esque,
It had some
samurai adjacent.
It definitely has some Souls vibes to it. I don't know if it's going to play like a Souls game though.
I mean, you die and come back to life. They definitely made that point.
Yeah, but a lot of the combat didn't seem Soulsy.
Didn't seem Soulsy.
I know that I know it's super nebulous, but something about I don't think that game is going to be a Dark Souls Bloodborne-ish game. I think it's going to be more like Nioh, which
I mean,
has some elements.
That makes sense. It's got samurais in it.
That was a big theme this year, by the way, samurais.
Yeah, I guess it's the year.
Yeah, samurais and pirates.
Which brings us to next year, the Samurai Pirate Simulator.
And going on, quick bit on Fallout 76. We'll get more into that once we hit Bethesda. Life is Strange, The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit's a little Life is Strange spinoff. I think it's free, coming out in a couple weeks, and I think it's going to bridge the gap between Life is Strange and Life is Strange 2.
They actually talk about it later that the Adventures of Captain Spirit it's not gonna be Life is Strange 2, but it's gonna introduce like characters and themes from Life is Strange 2.
It sounds like it's gonna be remember Walking Dead, the Telltale game, the 300 days or 400 days, whatever it was, that bridged the gap between season 1 and 2. Sounds like it's gonna be along those lines.
But it's free, so that's cool.
Yeah. Then we got Crackdown 3, essentially starring Terry Crews.
Yeah, basically a whole bunch of Terry Crews yelling.
Yeah.
I'd also like to point out that they showed absolutely no building destruction whatsoever.
Did they not?
No, none.
Wow,
there was a whole bunch of Terry Crews yelling. There was a car turning into a tank. There was shooting and rocket launchers and punchy explosions.
Collecting. Saw some orb collecting.
And that whole cloud-based building destruction thing was nowhere to be seen.
I think Microsoft's walking back on that. I don't think when the game comes out, it's going to be nearly as impressive as the thing that
made this game get pushed back so much.
Yeah, I don't think it's working out for them. And speaking of getting pushed back, I get another point on my predictions because Crackdown 3 was not dated.
Yep.
Not dated for let me rephrase that. Not dated for this year. It was dated. It's February 22nd. Which is a date that is going to be massively
I thought it just said February.
No, I think it's February 22nd specifically, which is the date everything is coming out on. Because thanks, Red Dead.
Everybody's running from that, and it's hilarious.
After
that, we got a peek at Metro Exodus.
Looks good.
Which looks great.
Didn't really add anything compared to what we didn't already know.
Yeah, I like the Metro games, but it kind of just looks like more of the same. But...
Amazing trailer choice song, Massive Attack.
Yeah, that's cool.
You
want to go to the next?
Yeah. Sorry. A bit scatterbrained. I've been watching this shit since Sunday. Kingdom Hearts 3 was shown off. First time ever on a Microsoft console. They showed Frozen for the first time, and I don't get why they did this, especially when Square has their own conference, not like 24 hours from when they showed this.
The big thing is that this trailer showed the release date for the game. And as we... needed to mention, but I think me and you were just talking about it. In like the middle of the night on Saturday, Square released the release date for Kingdom Hearts 3 on their Twitter.
Yep.
They just kind of threw it out.
Just like, nonchalantly, he's like, "Oh, here's the release date.
This is coming out." In the middle of the night for no reason. That's when they decided to announce it. But I guess it makes a little bit more sense if you know that Xbox is going to play a trailer that gives away the release date. They're like, no, Microsoft can't get our hype for this, so we have to tell everybody when it's coming out, even if we do it in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I don't.
It was so weird. But we'll get into the weirdness of Square Enix.
They have their own concert less than 24 hours. Square Enix is such a clusterfuck of mismanagement. We'll get more to them when it goes on. Like you said.
Then we got some new expansions for Sea of Thieves.
If you like Sea of Thieves,
show
cool.
us a lot.
It is not for me.
It was like a kind of story-style trailer of a girl seeing evil in the future.
Yeah, and they also showed like their upcoming roadmap for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's all right. Some Battlefield 5 stuff was followed up with that. Game looks pretty, but that's about it. I don't know if I'm like excited for that game at all. And then, David, I'm going to let you take over this one.
Oh, dude, and then we jumped into Forza Horizon 4 into another what I'm assuming is completely scripted gameplay video. because I don't think they had 30 some odd people playing this game live
Yeah,
on stage
correct.
or in the
But
background.
it does look beautiful, especially those weather changes.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. So now you get seasons, summer, spring, winter, fall, and the gameplay changes a little bit. Like there's accessible areas that you can't get to normally when it's wintertime because the lakes freeze over and all that fun stuff.
Imagine if Microsoft to actually make another Fable game using that weather changing system.
Man, that just bums me out.
Yeah.
But Forza Horizon 4 looks pretty good. I like that.
Then we got to what arguably, in my opinion, is the biggest surprise of the show, and it's not even a game really. It was Microsoft's
Buying
really
everybody.
just gobbling up everybody. They needed to do this, by the way. Microsoft needed to show gamers that they are committed to making and releasing games, especially after they canceled so many games. RAP Scalebound. They announced the initiative, a created from the ground up studio to work on games from Microsoft. They announced that they're buying Undead Labs, the guys who made State of Decay. Kind of surprised they didn't buy them sooner, but there you go. They bought Playground Games, the makers of the Forza stuff. They bought Ninja Theory. That's a big get. That's a big get. Guys who made Hellblade, DMC, Enslaved. And they also bought Compulsion Games.
I thought it was surprising they got Ninja Theory, especially since they were just talking about their AA game when they made Hellblade and how they can do their own thing and don't have to rely on a big publisher.
Well, it's always nice to have someone footing the bills.
Yeah, no, it's good for them. I mean, they had their little post saying that now they have the opportunity to do stuff they've never been able to do before, which is cool, but I'm still surprised by it.
All right. Quick lightning round of stuff here.
We got some PUBG nonsense. There's some new maps. At some point there was snow on the ground. That's very exciting for people that are still playing PUBG.
Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. Okay, cool, whatever. Division 2 looks cool. We'll get more on that at Ubisoft conference. Shadow of a Tomb Raider.
We'll be back to that on Square's conference.
Session.
Skateboarding game.
Yep. Everyone.
Not Skate 4 though, so no one gives a shit.
Yeah. Black Desert Online stuff, man, and then the worst kept secret in games. I said this was coming, though I thought it was going to be at the Sony conference and not the Microsoft conference. Devil May Cry 5.
Yep, we got a little trailer there for that Devil May Cry. So that's officially confirmed. It's an actual numbered Devil May Cry game. It's not DMC. DMC 2.
Looks to be Nero driving a truck with a rather sassy woman with him. Devil May Cry antics ensue. Whole bunch of demon killing. Trailer ends with an old grizzled Dante riding up on a motorcycle.
Yeah, that's
so
pretty good.
Super excited for that.
Extra stuff for Cuphead.
Cool.
Was shown. Cuphead still looks amazing. Still has a great soundtrack. So there you go.
Tunic, the blocky looking Fox Zelda game. Looks very cute. We also had Jump Force, which is all the Jumpstar anime guys. So One Piece, Naruto, Dragon Ball, some crossover game with all that. Something I was really excited for. This was another one of those, wow, this was unexpected moments. Dying Light 2.
Yeah, that's exciting. I really like Dying Light. I thought that game was cool.
Story by Chris Avellone.
Kind of just destroyed Dead Island for me. Dead Island I was excited for when I saw the original tear-jerking story trailer, and then that game was a little bit of a letdown.
Dead Island, famous for having... Go ahead.
I still played the hell out of it. Don't get me wrong, but Dying Light is just a much better version of that game.
I agree. Dead Island, known for its amazing trailers, but kind of subpar gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good. That was really cool. I like their branching storyline system they got going with it, where you can choose to essentially. I mean, it's something we've all seen before, right? Be a dick or be a saint. But it seems to be a little bit more gray than that. And I like how the world changes around you based on those opinions, like dramatically changes from what I've seen.
Yep. And then we got a return from the NES Classic, fucking Battletoads.
I feel sorry for GameStop employees.
Right? Do you have Battletoads? No, they don't. Not yet. But I guess they will. The weird thing is, we didn't see anything about it besides the title card. So there you go. We know it exists.
They did say it was going to be a 2D, 2.5D.
The hand-drawn 4K game.
Okay, cool.
That was in there. We got Just Cause 4, which looks great, as they normally do. I think the Just Cause games are tons of fun, but I tend to buy them on sale, and I think you're the same way.
Yeah, same here. They're great. like right now would be a good time to play a Just Cause game because there's nothing big coming out, and if you can find it on sale for Steam for like, let's say during their holiday sale they sell it for like $20, you buy it, it sits in your library. Now's the time to bust into it.
Yeah, it's a great franchise to buy when there's those lulls in game releases.
Much like Dying Light was.
Yeah, and then we got some Gears of War stuff, a whole bunch.
Oh, they trolled hard too. It starts off with the Funko Pop of Marcus Phoenix kicking through, and then they announced Gears of War Pop, and I straight up thought that's all they were going to announce with Gears of War.
That would have been hilarious. I'm actually fine with that. That would have been so funny. And then just release everything later in a blog post just to screw with everybody.
But there were 2 more games on top of that. Gears Tactics, which is, yes, please give me more of that. I love tactics games, and that looks exciting. And Gears of War 5, which looked pretty goddamn cool. Change of protagonist.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then, as the conference was winding down and they were saying their goodbyes, a fictitious hacker took the stage, and we got our first look, or not our first look, but another look at the long-dormant Cyberpunk 2077 trailer from CD Projekt Red.
It's been 2,077 days since the original teaser for Cyberpunk, since they first started talking about it.
Are you kidding?
Now we have a new Cyberpunk trailer.
No, are you kidding about that? Because that not only... No, it's not even close, because that's like 6 or 7 years.
Keep in mind that Cyberpunk was originally teased before all the Witcher 3 shit came out.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Looked cool. Definitely more punk than I thought it was. They were definitely... I was expecting Blade Runner. I got like punk, which was surprising. It's an interesting take on the cyberpunk style of gameplay or art direction rather. And I'm jazzed for it. It looked really cool. And apparently this game had all kinds of hidden shit. This trailer had like all kinds of messages that if you slow down, you'll see questions from like essentially a fax from CD Projekt Red in there. One of them saying, are there going to be any microtransactions? With them following up saying, microtransactions in a single-player game? Are you fucking kidding? So they really, really chocked that trailer full of hidden Easter eggs, including, apparently, a whole slew of Steam codes for The Witcher 3 and all of its expansions.
That's pretty cool. I didn't actually catch that part.
Yeah, I mean, they were gone like less than 5 minutes after the trailer came out. Hey, Phoenix 100K, how you doing? But they apparently gave a shit ton of copies of The Witcher 3 because it was just like if you paused it at certain parts, you would see it flash up on the screen real quick, and it would be a Steam code.
That's great.
So go them. CD Projekt Red knows their shit. Kind of surprised we didn't really get anything else from these guys though in any of the other conferences. They literally just showed this and that was it. But remember, CD Projekt Red famously states things like, it'll be done when it's fucking done. We take our time on this.
Yeah, but that's okay, because it's going to have a bunch of, like, DRM-free just expansions just added to it.
And that's a couple of those other fact questions, if you didn't get a chance to look at it, was, is there DRM? They said no. It'll be as DRM-free as Witcher 3 was, because why invest in DRM when people crack it in less than a day?
Yep.
And they also said expect as many free DLC expansions as there was in The Witcher 3.
I'm so hyped for that game. That looks great. Also, I want his damn car. I really do.
Oh, yeah. It looks good.
Let's jump back to Saturday, though, and talk about, in my opinion, the worst conference of the whole show.
Okay.
So far.
EA?
Let's talk about Electronic Arts. Yeah.
God, but look, I appreciate them going smaller.
I'm glad they went first.
Yeah, it definitely set the bar low.
Yeah, it just felt really unnecessary. I get that they have to have their meeting. You got a shareholder thing you got to worry about, but I don't know. It was slow. We started out with Battlefield 5. Looks pretty.
They can only show snow-covered settings so many times.
Yeah, we know what that is.
It does look pretty though.
Then we jumped into FIFA, which also looks pretty good. Not for me, but it's an outrageously popular franchise, so we can't knock that at all.
I mean, FIFA and their EA Sports games are their bread and butter. So, and remember, EA does not put a show on for fans.
Nope.
They don't. They put a show on for stockholders. So
here's what we have coming. Here's where your money's going.
Yes, of course. Like, they're very traditional when it comes to that stuff. And I can respect that to a degree, but it makes for a really boring presentation.
Speaking of boring presentations, they jumped into a an announcement for the name of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which was basically an interview. There was no details given. We
Yeah.
didn't see any gameplay. We didn't see a teaser trailer. We didn't see anything. We just know its damn name.
And we were told it takes place between episode 3 and 4. This clearly looks like it was last minute to me. You had Andrea Renee, who was the host, go up to, who's the Respawn head? It's not Jason West. It's Zampella. Was it Zampella?
Probably.
I think that's his name. And literally just interviewed him for the seat in the audience. Like, this feels so last minute. And they claim it's coming holiday 2019 with not even concept art shown of this thing.
Yeah,
I have
really weird.
Such a hard time believing that's going to happen.
And then we got a bunch of stuff for Battlefront, or Battlefront 2, rather. I still never picked that game up. I was salty. I've remained salty. I know they fixed the loot boxes, but fuck you. I could be missing out.
That game that game will be infamous for fucking up the concept of the loot box for everyone, not just EA.
Moving on, talk about in finance books in 10 years from now.
Showed a couple smaller things, and these were the two things that I was excited for. Unravel 2 looks cool. I like Yarny. And Sea of Solitude, which looks really goddamn entertaining.
Why isn't Unravel 2 on Switch, though?
Because this is I don't know, actually.
It's on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. It's not exclusive.
Could be announced to Switch later, maybe? Or it just might not have been designed for it. And remember, this is the EA Creates label. I don't think EA makes a dime off any of these guys. So it just might not be in their interest to do it. More sports stuff, NBA, Madden, and then... I swear to...
Your favorite part of the whole conference,
I swear to fucking Christ. I have never been more angry at any E3 conference than I was for this fucking mobile game.
Oh, man.
And I would have felt better about it if they just would have told me what it was up front. But they do that thing where they're like, we're going to do a quick little match on this mobile game, and we're going to shoutcast it. And I'm like, okay, this is boring. Boring is going on way too long. Okay, they're harvesting some green crystal shit up there. Wait, green crystals? No, I'm just imagining things. And then one of the people playing it says, I was GDI. And I've never come so close to literally flipping a table than when they fucking revealed what they did to Command & Conquer.
Command & Conquer Rivals, coming soon to your goddamn phone.
I am
to the future of Command & Conquer. This
fucking
is the sequel you've
salty
always
over this.
wanted, even if you didn't know it. Command & Conquer on the go.
Has Dungeon Keeper Mobile.
To be the first one to get a nuke to end the enemy's base, because that's the whole fucking point of Command & Conquer, just nuke the other guy.
Has Dungeon Keeper Mobile written all over it, and they fucking show Kane at the end, and he looks like just some generic bald white guy with a goatee. It's like they deliberately changed him just enough to keep from paying Joe Kukin royalties for playing Kane for as long as he did. I am so fucking angry at... I actually forgot about this until I wrote these notes today, and all that hate and rage came back. I can't even get a fucking thought out about how just annoyed I am at the existence of this game.
Yeah, but can't you play the pre-alpha now?
Shut the fuck up.
Wait, you don't want to check it out? You don't want to get it on the Play Store? Start downloading that Command & Conquer?
I get mobile games so big. And you know what? This might not even be... I might... But who's the... I'm confused as to who the target audience is for on this, because the target audience for the Command & Conquer name are going to be Command & Conquer fans, and they're going to see this, and it's just going to piss them off. And everyone else who'd be interested in this is going to go, I don't know what Command & Conquer is.
That's okay. They don't need that. They're just hoping enough people play it that they make some money.
Oh, God. But, hey, mobile games make a shit ton of money for the amount of effort that's put into them, so I get why it's coming out. I am not bashing why they did it. I understand why they did it. I'm just pissed off that they did it. And then after all that, Anthem.
Anthem! We saw it again.
It looks very Iron Man-ish. I kind of like how the suits are a little bit clunkier than you would think they would be. And it's starting to kind of pull away from being essentially Destiny, BioWare's take on Destiny. It's starting to kind of establish itself as its own game. I'm a little more excited for it.
You didn't see it as just Destiny, third person in the woods?
Oh, I did at first. After seeing this and a little bit more stuff on over the weekend, I'm starting to kind of see it as a little bit less Destiny and more its own thing. But I'm still not super hyped about this. I know this sounds weird, but BioWare announced that there's not going to be any romances in this game. And not that I care about specifically that, because I think BioWare jumped the shark with the romances. In fact, I think one of the reasons why Mass Effect Andromeda's plot was so meh is because they focused so hard on who you can fuck rather than building a good story narrative.
Saints Row did it better.
Saints Row absolutely did it better. By the way, Kinsey, #1 waifu. And
disagree, Keith David.
Ooh, yeah,
goddamn right.
I'd bang reverse giraffe. So
you can fly in Anthem. You got a jetpack. You can fly around.
Yeah.
3D,
so
3D combat.
Getting back to where I was. The fact that they're taking out like that whole element of the game, to me, feels like the story is going to be truncated on this. And I think we need to be thinking less Dragon Age Mass Effect and more the Old Republic when it comes to the storytelling of Destiny. Take with that what you will.
He means Anthem.
No, I mean Anthem's story is going to be more like the Old Republic.
Yeah, but then you said Destiny.
Ah, shit, I did say Destiny. God damn it.
If you're just joining us, this is GamePoints, the show where Steven frequently forgets words.
All the goddamn time.
Anyway, that was EA. They ended with Anthem.
Bad.
I saw it coming. It was way too long.
Yeah, but very boring. But remember, they're the one studio that doesn't make conferences for the gamer. They make it for their investors, and I get that. It's just not for us.
Cool, and then we'll jump to Sunday again because we don't know how to do anything in order, and we'll talk about Bethesda, which started out so fucking awkward for me.
This conference is Bethesda is clearly a company that feels like they have to produce a conference every year, even though they should really only produce one about once every 3 years.
Yeah, and they have a whole shit ton to talk about.
It starts off with a cute Meet the Team trailer, and I know this slows things down, but I also kind of wish more companies did something like this because it's important to recognize it's not just Pete Hines or... Actually, Pete Hines doesn't make any games. It's not just Hideo Kojima or Todd Howard that makes the games. They have a support staff of hundreds of people. So it's kind of cool to give them a shout out. And then, after roughly 5 or 6 minutes of that trailer, our own Slurms McKenzie himself, Andrew WK, comes out on stage and plays the song that was on the trailer for Rage 2.
To a group of people that were clearly not ready for that.
Yeah, it was very like
that
I don't
crowd
know
was opposite hype for Andrew WK to start yelling at them.
Anti-hype. Now, what would have been cool is if they had him doing that as they were showing a lot of shit from Rage behind him, but they didn't. They just had Andrew WK.
That would have been a great idea.
Out.
They could have put the trailer up and he could have played the sounds to it.
Yeah, like they did with Ubisoft. We're getting to that later. But instead, he comes out and he plays it, and then he packs up all of his instruments and goes to the next party that he is destined to go to, because that man just parties all the time, like the old Eddie Murphy song.
Yeah.
And then they show Rage 2, and goddamn, does Rage 2 look fun?
Dude, that game looks really fun. I'm pretty down for that. I'm not gonna lie. I like Avalanche. I actually like that Mad Max game mostly for the car combat and how it's phenomenal. And they know open world stuff.
Speaking of Avalanche, shout out to that tall motherfucker named Magnus.
Dude. Oh my god, having those two guys stand next to each other was my favorite part of the whole conference, I think.
If you haven't seen Rage 2 yet, it looks like Doom fucked Borderlands and splashed a bunch of neon paint in there, and I'm totally fine with it. Also, a bit of clever meta marketing where you see the TV in the game and they advertise the collector's edition for the game that comes with a singing mutant head you can put on your wall, kind of like the old singing trouts that you used to see on the infomercials way back when.
Yep.
I like that meta marketing. Cool. This is where Bethesda slows down a little bit. After that, they show Elder Scrolls Legends card game. Okay, cool. It's a card game. Elder Scrolls Online Somerset expansion, which I think is already out. They give me another point on my predictions by showing a 30-second teaser for Doom Eternal.
Nope, I'm not going to let it happen because you said Doom 2. Just fucking with you.
Don't be that guy. With more gameplay to be revealed at QuakeCon later this year, I am so fucking excited for it because it's taking place on Earth, it seems. And I loved 2016 Doom, but I wanted to see what they were going to do with the original concept for Doom 4, where they had like all the ruined White House and everything like that with demons running around. I kind of wanted to see that, so I wonder how much of that is actually going to make it to Doom Eternal. And
then
then
we have some Quake Champions.
Yeah, quick champion stuff. This is what I'm talking about, how Bethesda's show seems like they just need to talk about stuff because we don't need a conference for the Elder Scrolls
I've been
Legends
playing
card
Quake
game.
Champions for a while now. I got into that beta a million years ago, and I'm still not that good at Quake.
Quake's something else.
Quake's a whole other thing.
But like I said, this is where we're getting to stuff where it feels like Bethesda was just trying to stretch things out. The Elder Scrolls Legend card game, Somerset, which already released, Quake Champion stuff. The Prey DLC, which I was really excited for, and thought it was going to be like extra single-player story content, turns out to be a weird roguelike escape from the moon with permadeath and randomization, so everyone's different. It sounds like a completely separate game mode as opposed to something that's part of the game as part of the story itself. And a multiplayer mode where it's one player against 5 other mimics, which sounds cool, right? Because you can just be hiding in plain sight. But not what I would. It's not conference material. I expected something like Death of the Outsider from Dishonored, not what we got from Prey's Mooncrash DLC.
That's okay because we bounced right back with the next bit shown, Wolfenstein Youngblood, which is set in Paris in the 1980s, where you play as BJ's twin daughters.
Super excited for that. I love single player that idea.
Co-op.
Wolfenstein is truly something else these days. Don't let that cringy political point scoring, kill all Nazis because we can't define what Nazi is anymore kind of crap. The game itself is entertaining.
I thought that line was funny as shit.
It is if it didn't take such a cringy social tone to it on the internet, and the way he delivered it was deliberate. But I don't want to get into that because you're going to have people saying I defend Nazis even though I'm not, but it's I could go on a 25-minute rant about this. Do you really want to hear that?
No. I just said I thought it was funny, and you can go fuck yourself. Now let's talk about something else I thought was funny, and the fact that they had probably the greatest reveal trailer ever. It was very self-aware as they showed Elder Scrolls Skyrim playing on Amazon Alexa.
Yeah, I thought it was a joke because then they followed up with it playing on the fridge and all kinds of other things, but this shit is not a joke. You can play this on an Alexa.
Yeah, it's actually up on the Amazon store. You can download that shit if you got an Alexa, and you can yell at it. That whole spot was hilarious. We thought it was a joke. They also talked about the fact you can play it on your Samsung fridge. You can play it on a beeper. You can play it on it was just. I'm excited that they're aware of the fact that Skyrim's on everything, and then they actually followed through. I thought the whole thing was a joke, and then we saw the Amazon listing for Skyrim on.
Yeah, that shit's real. It exists. It's kind of scary.
People have been playing it. It's already got good reviews.
All right. Let's get into the main reason why people turned into the Bethesda conference. Let's talk about Fallout 76.
Hell yeah.
You're that excited for it.
Fuck yes. Okay, so I know a bunch of people are all mad because it's not a single-player Fallout, and it's not the game I want, and there's a whole fucking petition online to make it a single-player game. Fuck you, all right? It's not just Fallout 5. Just let them do it. Eat a dick. Get over yourself, Internet.
Yeah,
because I am excited about this. Because one thing I've always liked about Bethesda games is just the whole universe, and I've always wanted to take a few friends in there with me. The idea of playing like Skyrim with a couple buddies sounds awesome, and jumping into the Fallout world with a few friends, I'm super fucking down for. This isn't Fallout the MMO, because it's why I don't play Elder Scrolls Online, because that's not what I want. I just want a couple of people, and they talk about the fact the map is 4 times fucking bigger than Fallout 4, and the server's 12 people.
Very small server.
12 people on a huge fucking map, and that sounds awesome.
I like that. So, this is one of those reasons why you need guys all need to be listening to Jason Schreier. Love him or hate him, he prepared me for what Fallout 76 is going to be. Because if I heard, hey, new Fallout game's coming, I would have went in going, oh shit, here comes Fallout 5, and be extremely pissed at what I got. But because he straight up said, hey, listen, this is not going to be a traditional Fallout. It's going to be multiplayer focused. And people were like, oh, that's fucking dumb. You're lying. It's like, nah.
Dude, people got
this is
so mad at him. They were even mad after the reveal.
Yeah. I'd like to
he
say
ruined it.
thank you, Jason Schreier, for tempering my expectations of this. Because I saw this and went, yeah, okay, it's Ark Fallout. Or it's Rust Fallout. Okay, cool. I don't expect much, if any, story here. In fact, they've been very clear in saying you're not going to meet any NPCs in the game other than robots. Fits the timeline because it's only 20 years after the bombs dropped.
Now, I thought that they said specifically that only the people that left Vault 76 were players. That does not mean that there's no NPCs in the game. There's
Both
just
these
none
things
from
can,
Vault
and I
76.
believe, are true. Now, keep in mind, this is all still fresh, so there could be information later that clarifies statements. But from what I understand is that, yes, the only player characters are people that came from Vault 76 specifically. But I also heard that the only NPCs you meet are the robots. Now, they could be cute. They could be like, hey, here's the giant Zack supercomputer sending out a bunch of Protectrons, and that's how the story gets conveyed. Which wouldn't be a stretch for Fallout. Remember, the boss to Fallout 3, President John Smith, I think his name was, voiced by Malcolm McDowell, that was a Zack supercomputer. So, it's not unheard of. But I hear things like that, and I just kind of go, this is just going to be an open-world survival crafting game, and you kind of know how I feel about those. And I know how you feel about
games,
those.
which is fine. I like multiplayer survival games because I think they're fun, and I like screwing around in universes, especially ones that I enjoy.
Yeah.
So
that said, I'm not writing this game off. This might actually be the first survival crafting game I get and might even enjoy. There's a lot of things I like about it. I like just nuking shit. That sounds cool. I like the idea of a town in a box where you can build your settlement and then go, I want to move it. And rather than dismantle it and build it somewhere else, it looks like you just throw it all in a box and deploy it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of cool stuff here, and I want to see more. I want to get my hands on it. I'm reserving judgment on it. As it is right now, I am slightly above lukewarm on it. But I also lowered my expectations a lot, so I'm not hyped up on it, which I think is going to work in this game's favor as far as I personally am concerned. Anything else you want to add to Fallout 76 before we move on to the last few bits here?
I'll play it.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think I will too. Beta should be soon, I think. I think they mentioned it was soon. And this game comes out this year.
Actually, the beta I was hunting for, as of right now, there's no way for you to get into the beta unless you pre-order the game. Pre-order the game to get access to beta. As of right now, that is the only way to do it.
Oh, and we know how we feel about that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but then we got the game that everyone's been waiting for. A new Elder Scrolls game. Fuck yeah. It's called Blades, and it's on mobile.
Hey, talk shit about this all you want. I thought it looked cool. I am not going to play it. Let me clarify. I do not play mobile games. I am not going to play this game. But
I just don't like touchscreens.
As far as mobile games go, though, this looked goddamn amazing.
It looks pretty cool, but I don't want to slide on my screen.
Yeah,
I don't know. My phone gets warm when I play games. Maybe my phone sucks.
Not for us. Much like Command & Conquer, that game is not for us. That said, this looks cool. Command & Conquer is a flaming piece of monkey shit.
It does look real good, though.
And yeah, I mean, there you go. But what more can we say on it? I think he said it was free to play, but I'm not positive on that.
Yes, it is. Confirmed by me just now.
And it's going to be on as many devices as they can throw it out on. They've been very clear on that. Which brings us to two announcements to wrap up the show with, which are completely antithetical to what Bethesda normally does.
They've been really good the last few years of actually just announcing stuff and then having it come out within the next 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months to a year tops. They finally mentioned Starfield, sci-fi RPG. You just saw a bunch of science fiction-y looking trailer.
You saw some space.
Yeah, and that's about it. And then they went, hey, here's Elder Scrolls 6.
Yep. And you saw nothing, really. You saw some mountainous region that could have just been a retextured thing from Skyrim.
Now, people have torn that screenshot apart, by the way, and Smart Money says we're returning to Daggerfall on that.
That makes sense.
Because they're like, here are the landmarks from Daggerfall. Here are the landmarks we saw here. There we go.
But he just said that this is nowhere near done.
Yeah.
This is like next gen game. He just admitted it on stage. Hey guys, by the way, this does exist. You don't need a rumor because we're actually making it, but that's all we're gonna tell you about it. Go fuck yourselves.
And
And he
showing
walked off
these,
screen.
in my opinion, is a mistake. A big
Yes.
mistake. Because not only are these off far away, Starfield in particular, he said, hey, these are games for the next generation. Now, he could be saying, oh, this is our next generation technology. But really, let's be honest what he meant here. These are games that are going to be on PlayStation 5, the next Xbox One. Going back to the theme of what this E3 is, we've run out of shit to show, so we have to just stretch things out.
Mom.
And he mentioned very clearly that Elder Scrolls 6 will be after Starfield. And if Starfield is a next generation game, and we're not going to see the next generation until likely E3 of 2019, which means Starfield at best case scenario will be fall of 2019, more than likely early next 2020. That means you're not going to see Elder Scrolls 6 until no earlier than
like
fall
3
of
years.
2020, likely 2021.
Man, that's too futuristic for me. You start talking about the years 2020, and I can't handle that. It's too future. Too much.
And that wrapped up Bethesda. They really didn't need to have a conference this year.
But someone that absolutely did need to have a conference is someone who had probably the best conference from last year. I'm talking about Devolver Digital.
18 minutes of Adult Swim humor is essentially what you got.
It was great. It started out with not Nina, which was upsetting, and this guy that was too hype and that was very excited about the crowd and yelling about how they were super excited for their new foray into the Battle Royale play space and how they're super excited for that play space to be something that they occupy. And then he gets his fucking neck snapped by Nina, and she's back.
Yep. And then the conference is, I mean, we can't I don't want to get too in-depth into it. I just recommend you go YouTube it and understand that this is an E3 conference as if it was being broadcast on Adult Swim, so you have an idea what to get into.
It's an E3 conference that's built specifically to make fun of the concept of E3 conferences.
Yes. They did show a couple things. They showed Scum, open world survivor game. Looked interesting.
We don't really know a lot about it.
No. They announced the actual thing that exists, the ultimate in cryptocurrency, the loot box coin. As of right now, the loot box coin is currently selling for
$75.
$75 also, still.
The price changes
every hour.
I'm pretty sure every hour on the hour. I've seen it for $150. I've seen it for $130. I've seen it for $127. Like, it's just a fake little thing that you can technically buy, and you get it, and it's a coin that's 2.5 inches, and it has no value whatsoever. But you can absolutely give Devolver money, and they will send you one.
Yeah, I kind of want one myself. I need to talk with my my quasi contact and see if I can't get one from her.
Stupid.
And then they showed 2 more games, and one of them my friend Pedro looks amazing. It's like a 2D Deadpool simulator almost.
Yeah,
this guy is running around with 2 submachine guns, almost ballet dancing, murdering enemies. And then
where you do flips and shoot people.
And then David. Remember how I was talking about how this year was very, very light on the, oh wow, I did not see that coming moments. Holy shit, get hyped. I can't believe Devolver gave us one of those and was one of the few ones we had so far. And the fact that they are bringing to America, for the first time ever, the classic Metal Wolf Chaos.
From Software. It's important to mention.
If you don't know what Metal Wolf Chaos is, go take a look at it. It is essentially, you are the president of the United States. Shit's gone bad. So you climb into your battle mech and commence to dispense freedom to all those who wish America harm. With the tagline, Mech America Great Again. I can't believe they're bringing this game over. And it feels like Devolver Digital is having a side in-joke laugh at all of us, because they're like, you know what? With the current administration, what would be the perfect game to bring over right now? Because Metal Wolf Chaos is kind of the Japanese making fun of the most extremely Americans out there, which is kind of like what we have in office right now. All the flamboyant bluster and borderline insanity, and you never know if he's just going to fly off the handle and just start beating the shit out of someone.
Or
That's-
hopping a battle mech.
Yeah, that's Metal Wolf Chaos right there. So, yeah. Devolver with the big
People got
surprise.
really excited for this online, and I'm be real, I never even heard of this damn game.
Oh, I'm not
even
surprised.
a little bit.
Never came
Not
over
even
here.
vaguely.
You don't worry about it.
There's a whole bunch of people that are really excited.
Take a look at a couple trailers. One thing to note about the Devolver Digital Conference, by the way, this entire thing was done by Imago Softworks. Don Thacker, he is probably the guy that you've seen around some of our stuff because we've covered him a couple times. Imago Softworks, of course, are the people making Star Mazer. And if you recall, Star Mazer had a couple weeks on this show where we had to talk about them and the DMC nonsense that was going on around that. So I don't want to get into it, but I thought it was kind of cool just to know that his company does more than just games. They're apparently a film company as well.
Yep.
So definitely cool.
Oh, and it ended with Nina getting shot.
And with Nina getting shot in a clearly setting up some kind of mythos here because the guy from the first one that got his arm eaten by the computer comes back looking like Snake from Metal Gear Solid 5, guns her down, and then she gets Robocopped. I mean, literally Robocopped.
It's
Not even like, oh, here's she's getting like cybernetics. I mean, they ripped off Robocop. Word for word almost. Couple more conferences real quick. We're going to talk about the absolutely pointless Square Enix one. I don't even know why this existed. It was 30 minutes long, and it was almost all shit that we've seen already, including Tomb Raider, Final Fantasy 14 patch. It's fucking patch, whatever. Monster Hunter and Final Fantasy content. Okay, cool.
That's a cool crossover. More important than that one is the fact that there's also Final Fantasy and Monster Hunter crossover. So that brought like the Rathalos and shit into Final Fantasy 14, which I don't care about. But more importantly, the Behemoth from Final Fantasy is going to be added to Monster Hunter. So that's fucking sick.
Yeah, that is sick. That Life is Strange spinoff that we mentioned earlier.
Captain of Amazo Underpants.
Yeah, whatever it is. Dragon Quest XI. Echoes of the Elusive Age. Of an Elusive Age.
That's enough to give you pause.
I am not I'm not a Dragon Quest guy. Never really have been. But I absolutely admit I understand how big this game is. I understand it has a rabid fan base. And I'm excited for you guys.
Cool. And then we got Babylon's Fall from Platinum Games.
Super excited for this. We didn't even see anything about it.
Yeah, we know nothing about it besides some like still images.
The timeline intrigued me. I was watching that trailer going, okay, I like this timeline. I like how they have like this established lore here. I want to see where it goes.
Historical something. Then Nier Automata on Xbox, which was already announced at Xbox conferences. That's
Showed that already.
Beyond Gods edition or whatever that comes with the DLC. Then we saw a little bit of Octopath Traveler, which still looks pretty cool if you're a JRPG kid for Switch. And the release date was tagged on there. Comes out in July. Then we saw Just Cause 4 again, which we already knew about. Then we saw a weird teaser for The Quiet Man.
The Bouncer 2, baby.
Dude, I am still mad that it's not just The Bouncer 2, and instead it's some game called The Quiet Man, where it looks to be you play as a guy that punches people. If you're gonna make a new game about people that punch people, Square, just make another fucking Bouncer game. Come on, son.
So
Bouncer 2, Return to Duragon.
I'm legitimately excited for this one. It started off live action, oddly enough, and then morphs into gameplay. But I don't know if they're doing something like Quantum Break or anything with it. I like the idea that the main character's deaf too. There'd be some interesting ways to play in that. And then they end up with Kingdom Hearts 3, which is already shown. Now, I mentioned when we started talking about these guys, this entire conference was unnecessary because
we saw most of it at Microsoft.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. By my count, 11 different things they showed.
Of the 14 things they showed?
6 of them were already covered by previous conferences. Almost down to the exact same trailer that we saw.
Yeah, that Kingdom Hearts thing was not exciting to watch after seeing the exact same thing happen at Microsoft.
They did technically change it up a little bit, but for the most part, it was
vaguely changed. Very vaguely.
All right. Last conference we're going to get to before we wrap things up here is the Ubisoft one. Ubisoft traditionally tends to be a lot of fat. I think last year's was pushing 2 hours. This year was an hour and a half, so they did slim up a little bit, but it's still pretty chunky, including the
Still longer than Sony's.
Yeah. It's hard not to be.
Yeah, that's true. But it was also as long as Microsoft's.
Start of Just Dance. They always
There
start
was a
with Just
dancing
Dance.
panda
There was a
and
Dancing
a live
Panda.
band.
Much like Madden for EA, Just Dance makes them a shit ton of money, so I get why they mentioned it.
Yep.
Saw some Beyond Good and Evil 2. Dave, why don't you go ahead and lead this one here? Because
Dude,
I have no interest in
Beyond
this
Good and
game.
Evil, again, we had just a not an actual like gameplay trailer or anything. It was just another cinematic trailer, but it looked pretty damn cool. We got to look at more of the crew, more of like their big ship, and then their ship gets caught in this big dramatic firefight looking thing.
Get Unicroned.
Get Unicroned, and as they all get back to the ship and wait to be boarded, we get a little tease at Jade.
Protagonist from the first one.
And all of a sudden, you started paying attention, right?
Yeah, I kind of went, oh, okay, interesting. I thought this was like a prequel that was supposed to be a couple hundred years before the first one, but hey, who knows what's going on? They might have changed that, or I could have been mistaken.
I just like the look of the universe. We did get a couple peeks of what gameplay could look like. I don't want to say what it does look like because this game is still very early and that could all just be made for E3 style content. But, you see some driving around on a jet bike. You see some melee combat with a spear weapon. And then they talk about a partnership with Hit Record, which is a company that was co-founded by one Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And if you don't know what Hit Record does, it's a group collaborative just media foundation, basically. They get a whole bunch of people together, and they work together to make different pieces of art, to make music, to make movies, to make all kinds of stuff. And the whole point of it is collaboration. So it's not like one person submits their song, and then they put it up on the website, and then everybody gets to like vote for the song. It's built to be collaborative, and they've partnered with Beyond Good and Evil 2. So we'll throw actually a link in the YouTube page later, but you can sign on to hitrecord.org and go look up Beyond Good and Evil 2 and straight up just join the project and start submitting concept art or musical pieces or all kinds of stuff. They have like challenges on there for things they're looking for of shit they're just going to add into the game legitimately. And I think that is a awesome idea. It's like crowdsourced video game.
Yeah, and one thing I want to stress here is when they first announced this, I was like, oh, I was kind of snarky. I said, what a good way to get people to create things for your game and not pay them. Hit Record pays.
Yeah, luckily you had no idea what Hit Record was because the collaborators are normally paid, and there's actually a whole separate video on there for how you get paid for Beyond Good and Evil 2. If you are part of a project and that project gets used in the game, you getting a check, son.
Yeah, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt did say, hey, we meant to say this during the show itself, but got cut from the script. Yeah, if they use your shit, you get paid. So good on them. I was really against this at first because I hate that bullshit of, hey, come make art for our game. We'll put it in there and we won't pay you at all and it's all ours and you get no credit for it ever again. Hit Record pays out. So amazing.
They want graffiti, they want wall art, they want different musical tracks for both the pirate radio and like the cathedral areas. They want a whole bunch of stuff. And I know this game's really early, but dude, I just love this conference. It's so cool to bring this kind of stuff into it.
Yeah, that was definitely a good move. Bunch of quick things. Rainbow Six stuff. Okay, cool. Trials Rising. I mean, it's more Trials. Division 2.
Great. It's on Switch.
I'm excited for Division 2. Finally got 8-player raids, which was really, really needed for the Division 1, because the Division 1 was extremely lacking in endgame content. Mario vs. Rabbids Donkey Kong Adventure. They had a band playing out the trailer. Okay, it's Mario vs. Rabbids. Nintendo has this really weird special relationship with Ubisoft, which will come into play later. It's kind of interesting to see. I've never seen Nintendo be so chummy
friendly with their
another
IPs.
developer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really strange.
Skull and Bones. That's that pirate ship game where you're actually kind of playing around as the pirate ship blowing stuff up. My mood's improved a little bit after seeing this, but it's still...
Watching the boat combat helped you out?
It still feels a little bit like For Honor on the sea.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not that excited about being a pirate.
Yeah. Transcendence VR game by Frodo Baggins.
Yes. Courtesy of Frodo.
Looks cool. Sign me up for this. Starlink. This was Ubisoft's Toys to Life thing, what we're hearing rumors about, and we kind of saw some stuff
play
before.
as little spaceships, and then you amiibo your spaceships onto your Switch controller, so you can play as your custom-built toy spaceship in the spaceship toy game that I was just not excited for.
Yeah, it's kind of...
Toys to Life is kind of like a service game that's more expensive.
Yeah. And the rumor was that they dumped the Toys to Life aspect to it, but they clearly did not as of this trailer. You could see the Toys to Life in there, and even the game itself is kind of selling the concept of Toys to Life, with the line, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it was essentially, the more of us there are, the stronger we get.
Yep.
Which means you gotta buy them all.
And then they mindfucked you.
Yeah. Special surprise guest appearance from Shigeru Miyamoto, and he brought Star Fox to the table.
To Starlink.
Star Fox is going to be in Starlink, which is...
And we got a brief gameplay video of, that their Star Fox looking ships flying around in space and shooting bad guys, looking better than any fucking recent Star Fox game that's actually come out on Nintendo. Yeah. And that just pisses me off.
Ubisoft has made a better Star Fox game than Nintendo has.
And literally, this is just some add-on content that's only for the Switch version of their Toys to Life game.
Sigh. They rounded out the conference with some For Honor content. I really like the fact that Ubisoft keeps supporting their games long after their launch. It's working out.
They're really pushing stuff to make it popular. I mean, Rainbow Six Siege bounced back like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
so
it's working very well for them. And For Honor has a decently dedicated community that plays it.
Mm-hmm. Then we got into some more of The Crew 2.
That's
more
close. That's end of this month, isn't it?
Yeah, I did play the beta for that, and it's got cars, it's got planes, it's got boats, and it's got a small map of America that's still pretty damn good size for a racing game map. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
It's a cool idea. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I feel for the PR guys at Ubisoft when this got leaked, because this would have been one hell of a surprise reveal.
Right, but we knew about it because of a damn keychain.
And that was it. Assassin's Creed Odyssey looks cool. 2 playable main characters, male and female. Looks like they're going slight romance options, because when BioWare said no romance in Anthem, Ubisoft said, fuck you, we're bringing it to our games instead. And
they also talked about vaguely player choice having an impacting thing, mostly because you got yelled at by Socrates telling you that the shit you pick will have dramatic effects on the future.
Yeah, and it sounds like there will be different endings to this. I am fine. Assassin's Creed has now become The Witcher, and I am fine with that. I am totally fine with them essentially changing what the gameplay to Assassin's Creed was, because I liked Origins a lot. I think the old Assassin's Creed games, while all right for their time, were really that gameplay was really starting to show its age. So I'm glad that those changes seem to be permanent. Biggest disappointment: no Splinter Cell.
Nope,
at all. All that Sam Fisher hype with the Ghost Recon Wildlands didn't pay off to anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that wraps things up. Overall, David, what do you feel about this series as a whole?
For the entirety of E3?
For what we have seen so far, taking all these conferences in, how do you feel?
Honestly, I've been pretty underwhelmed.
But
it's mostly because we know of everything that was talked about. Besides actually seeing the Resident Evil 2 remake, which we knew existed, I wasn't surprised by anything, which is a little bit of a bummer. I mean, you can kind of see it coming, especially with the way things are leaked and nothing's really kept secret anymore. But like you said, people are probably holding out for the next gen consoles, and this is just kind of what we get.
Yeah, unnecessary is the word I would use.
That being said, Nintendo is tomorrow, because we are a day early because we're ridiculous, and I'm kind of hoping that they'll bring it back, that they'll make me happy with the Switch, which they've done several times before.
Unnecessary is my word. Ubisoft, thank you for not having a 2-hour conference. You trimmed the fat. You didn't show us Eagle Flight for 20 minutes. Still take a little bit of a scalpel to your stuff. I don't need to see a trailer, then have you guys talk for 5 minutes and then show a trailer again. That shit got a little ridiculous. One trailer should be fine. Microsoft, however, Microsoft brought it. I think Microsoft's conference was actually a good conference, a great conference even. No big surprises, but they did reveal Halo, and that didn't get leaked. They did reveal Gears of War, and that didn't get leaked, despite the fact that we know those games are coming. But it's also 2 games that, I mean, Halo needed to bring it, though. This was a do-or-die conference from them, and they brought it hard. Square Enix, completely unnecessary. Like I said, half their shit was shown elsewhere, and they could have sent the other half on other conferences. Devolver was amazing, but Devolver's a parody. Bethesda, it's a company that only needs a conference once every 3 years instead of once every year, and it really showed here. And, I mean, EA, we've gone about that, and Sony, man, I think I would like Sony's better if it didn't have that weird church thing and the intermission at the beginning. But even if you cut that out, if you cut out that and just like tacked on the
then it would have been
trailer,
a 35-minute show.
Yeah. Disappointing year overall. But we'll see what tomorrow brings with Nintendo's conference. We will likely not talk about it next week because it's going to be a full week after that, and all that news will be dead unless it's something that's so amazing we can't help but talk about it.
You mean like when they announced the game that I've been claiming is coming out for the last however long this podcast has been running?
I'm a little bit more on the we might actually get an F-Zero side.
Believe it, son. It's coming. I've had faith. I've called it every single year, and this is my year.
Broken clock strike twice a day.
I'll buy another Switch.
Anyways, let us know what you guys think about this year's E3. What conferences you loved, what conferences you hated. Do you think that overall it was a good one or not? I think we're just both a little disappointed this year, especially how good they've been in past years. But let us know what you think down below in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. If you like to watch us live, feel free to do so at twitch.tv/GamePoints every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Right here, we do try to take your questions in whenever we can.
Hey, wait, hold up, man.
What?
You're forgetting about the fact that E3 is all shit that's happening in the future, and that our audience, our dedicated and loved audience, might be wondering what they can play now.
Well, I didn't write anything down. I was going to kind of.
Luckily, I did because I pay attention.
All right.
So, this
lightning
is the
round this shit.
New releases lightning round, courtesy of GamePoints. So, what came out yesterday is Fallout Shelter for PS4 and Switch. You can Google all this shit. I'm not telling you anything about it. Super Bomberman R for PC, PS4, and Xbox One comes out tomorrow. Paladins on Switch. Omega Strike for PS4 and Xbox One. Jurassic World Evolution for PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Game shit, by the way.
Tennis World Tour for PC and Switch. We have Ark Survival Evolved coming out on Android and iOS on Friday, which is absurd. Wreckfest is officially launched on PC, which we did get a little bit of a teaser of a couple of days ago, but this was not in any of the major conferences. And finally, Lego The Incredibles, PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, which comes out on the 15th.
Coinciding with the release of the movie.
There you go. Those
Thank you,
new
David.
releases.
I did not think there was going to be anything worth talking about as far as new releases get this week, except for Jurassic Park Evolution, which I heard was crap, so I did not even bother to bring it up.
I got to bring them up. It's my only job.
Fair enough.
It's the only thing I'm supposed to do. That and show up, which I do approximately 2/3 of the time.
Anyways, if you like the show, you can follow us. I'm Stephen Brent over at Capitalist Pig. That's David Smith over there at Pal Shot Financial Story. I did not even bother to introduce us because I knew this was going to be a long-running show, and I just want to get through it. This has been Game Points episode 130, and until next Monday,
at 8 p.m. PST,
we're out of here.